How's everybody doing? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Andrew Goldman. Today I'm going to be trying Flexible Dining Lifestyle's Krispy Kreme air fryer donuts. We're going with the vanilla recipe, guys. These donuts come out to 130 calories each, 160 calories with frosting. Although they're not technically anabolic because they're not super high in protein.
No, that's stupid!
They're definitely less calories than the original recipe. You can see the time codes below if you want to get to a specific part of this video. You can also look in the description box for the ingredients and the recipe itself for making these donuts. So let's get started on these donuts right now, guys. This recipe called for some pretty standard ingredients. The only ingredients I had to get from the store were actually those sugar, these yeast packets, and whole milk. That's the ingredients that I didn't have in my house already. So I'm going to show you here. Here are all the dry ingredients. We have salt, sugar, and all-purpose flour. For the wet ingredients, here's what we have. We have whole milk, butter, the yeast packets, and eggs. What you want to do is basically add butter and milk to a bowl and then very carefully microwave it. You want to check it a few times or else the butter and milk might explode on you. Once your butter melted into the milk, you're going to want to add your yeast pack and one egg and then whisk it together. After all your wet ingredients are whisked together, you want to add it to your flour and then start mixing it around. Zach says to add some Pam to each of your hands once the mix starts coming together and then start kneading the dough. At this point, I started freaking out because the dough was super sticky. You can see it sticking to my hands. At this point, you basically want to yell as loud as you can.
Where are the turtles? Come on, guys, get out of here. Where are the turtles?
Someone will come help you and give you some flour off to the side. It's going to act as a magical powder that gets all that flour off your hands, and now you're going to be good to go. And now I'm going to be able to form my dough ball. After you've kneaded the dough for a few minutes, you're going to want to wrap it up and let it proof. What that means is you're basically going to give the yeast some time to activate and then go do whatever you want for a couple hours. Come back and then you're going to see the dough ball basically doubled in size. You're going to flour your working station, knead the dough out, roll it out, and then start cutting your donut shapes. While we're rolling out these donuts, I just wanted to mention I really appreciate all the support and all the subscribers for the channel so far. And I just wanted to mention that I'm also trying to grow my Instagram channel out a little bit so I could do like polls and other cool fitness stuff. So if you guys want to follow me there, just check out the description box. There's a link to my Instagram. Now, if you don't have a biscuit cutter, I looked up online. It's perfectly fine. You can just use a pint glass just like this and a smaller hole for the inner hole. So I made each donut one by one and then put them off on a plate to the side. Then I put my air fryer on, sprayed it with some Pam on the bottom, sprayed each donut one by one. Definitely check the air fryer every minute or two, because these things do cook really fast and you don't want them to burn. The last step was making the icing, which couldn't have been easier. It was literally just almond milk and the confection sugar, and I didn't end up using all the icing, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So once your donuts are out of the air fryer and nice and cooled off, I basically dipped them in the icing, let them cool more. We're gonna get into the taste test right now. And then the next thing that I did is I actually have the total weight for all 12 of my donuts, and then I know that this is 100 grams. So by the time I edit this video, I'm going to show you guys the exact calories in these two donuts, because as you see, if you're not like a perfect baker, this one's like twice the size of this one. So I definitely use a little more flour than Zach used because it was getting really sticky to my hand, so I'll add that into the calories. Try this right now. Frosting is powdered sugar and almond milk, and obviously this isn't too anabolic because if you read the comments, this guy Zach was getting some hate where they're like, oh man, like this is only 160 calories. Why not just go to Krispy Kreme for another 30 calories? I guess you could make that kind of argument, but at the end of the day, he's making donuts from scratch. Some people like cooking. I kind of wanted to see because at least I know in my head, I know exactly what ingredients I use. Since it's like non-anabolic, it doesn't give you any of that like gross like protein flavor. All right, so we're going into donut number 2. Like I said, like compared to other anabolic desserts, it definitely tastes really good because it doesn't really sacrifice because you're not putting that protein powder in. Oh, honestly, in the air fryer when you're cooking them, you really want to pay attention because like in 1 second they went from like they're looking decent to like not burnt, but they get that charred really quick. So my other advice from before, learn from my mistakes, add a little bit of extra flour if your hands are sticky. Here's this one right here, and like I said, it's kind of like a little bready, because I mean, I'm not like a professional baker, obviously, but it's nice and sweet, it's good. It has like a little bit of salt coming through from the salt and the salted butter. But hats off to Zach. I'm gonna sit here, give it like a 7.5 out of 10 because it's not anabolic, even though he never said it was anabolic. And I felt pretty good with 2. So I'm gonna, once again, I'll put the calories up, all the information. Until next time, thank you guys.